As a transition to the Inca, I wanted to end with this relief from Chan Chan. What it depicts is a double-headed serpent, and we can find my friend right here. There's a head over here, the body over there, and another head over there, almost as if it's arcing up in the sky. This double-headed serpent at the time of contact was known by the name of Amaru, which is from Quechua, the local language. This critter, this creature, this double-headed serpent was associated with divisions between realms, with boundaries, with edges, essentially. And consequently is also associated with crossing boundaries between realms and with shamanism. And we have already talked a little bit about the serpent as being a kind of vision serpent, representing the visionary travels of the shaman. I point this out because I would like you to know that shamanism is going to continue. It's going to be very important for the Chimu. It's also going to remain very important among the Inca, and in addition to that, it continues well into the 21st century. If you go to Cusco, the highlands, well, probably even Lima today, I am willing to bet you anything that it will be easy to find a shaman. In addition to that, before leaving my buddies here, the two-headed serpent, I would like you to see the duality is at play. This serpent has a kind of pointy ear. This serpent has a kind of rounded ear. This serpent has one eye, and this is definitely trance eye, folks, that is clear in the center, empty in the center. This one, which is also radiating out in trance-like eye, is filled in the center. So we have within one being duality that is typical of the Andes. In addition to shamanism, I would like to stress the fact that ancestor worship is going to continue to grow, and probably to grow in importance. It was becoming increasingly important during the period of Chimu, and perhaps a little bit before. Ancestors in general were growing in significance, and the compounds with the great burial sites for the ancestors that we looked at, that we pointed out, and that we saw with that model, are an important part of Chimu. This may be taking place at the expense of the prominence of some of the more traditional divine beings. We're going to continue them, yes, but I do think that the ancestors are growing in significance at the same time that maybe the traditional divine beings are going to be declining a little bit. Chimu is going to continue to embrace the staff god, and that is going to continue into the period of the Inca. Going to continue to have a goddess figure, and also is going to continue that interesting moon animal that we looked at with Requai. I think that's what we're looking at up here, and I think that's what we're looking at over here. So there's going to be continuation of some of the divine forms, but I would like to stress the importance of ancestors. That's going to be increasingly significant when we get to the Inca. The Inca are also going to continue some of the things that came before them, definitely some of the things that came before them, and like the Romans, are going to borrow from the people who already had established a system. And it is quite possible that they borrow split inheritance from the Chimu. Consequently, the Inca, every time a new Inca or ruler came to power, he had to go on conquest in order to claim new territory, to get new tribute, to accumulate wealth to support himself, and also to support his family while he lived, and also after his death. The respect also for artisans will continue, and I think that's pretty obvious with the fact that the Inca scarfed up those Chimu artisans and craftsmen and artists and immediately took them back to Cusco. So we are definitely going to have a mixing and a blending of influences when we get to the Inca Empire. And the Inca will look all the way back in time to the very roots of Andean history, and that will be, at least for us, back to Chavin.